Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022 to 2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धि विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. So today, we are commemorating Conservatorship and Guardianship Abuse Awareness Day in US. Usually, through online conferences, events such as debates, live streams, and discussions. So this day aims to raise awareness about the abuse of power within the conservatorship and guardianship system, which was created to take care for people with disabilities or illness, impairing their decision-making abilities. However, some guardians and conservators take this an opportunity to control and manipulate their wards. So guardianship allows an individual with normal living conditions to take over the healthcare and the non-financial decisions of someone suffering from a degenerative illness, injury, or coma. Guardians are appointed by a court and doesn't necessarily have to be family members or friends of the ward. Anyone capable of making reasonable decisions for the welfare of the individual in their care can be appointed. In addition, guardians don't deal with financial matters, so they are prohibited from making monetary-based decisions. In contrast, a conservatorship is when an individual living with reasonably normal conditions assumes control over the financial concerns and needs of someone unable to make them, including people with Alzheimer's disease or dementia or those with comatose state. Conservators are also appointed by the court and don't need to be friends or family members. These typically deal with the financial matters, meaning someone can be designated as both guardian and conservator if necessary. Pop singer Britney Spears' case is a well-known example of conservatorship and guardianship abuse that this day exposed. In 2008, her father and an attorney became her conservators. Although she showed signs of lucidity, however, her conservators were accused of abusing her financial power and restricting her access to large amounts of money she had earned throughout her career. Conservatorship and Guardianship Abuse Awareness Day was set on February 1st, the day Spears Conservatorship began to bring attention on similar cases of abuse. In 1967, the Lanterman-Petrish Short Act is published, in short, the LPS, in 1967. The United States federal government takes conservatorship of the banks during the recession in 2008. On February 1st, 2008, Britney Spears is placed under the conservatorship of her father and attorney, Lisa McCarley, creates Conservatorship and Guardian Abuse Awareness Day, which is first day of observation in 2021. So hope everyone is aware of this, this woman, Britney Spears. She's, one of the famous celebrity. So for those who don't know about her, following several public incidents that suggested Britney Spears' mental health was declining and resulting in a hospital stay, Britney Spears' father was given control of her estate. So guardians also do get paid. Many courts permit guardians payment for their work to meet their ward's needs. And if the potential ward has an illness such as dementia or Alzheimer's, or has suffered from a brain injury or a form of brain injury, they are likely in need of someone to make necessary health care or financial decisions for them. So this is an opportunity to understand and learn about the concepts of conservatorship and guardianship and how they work. By doing this, you can also determine when someone is abusing their power. The sense of safety is knowing that your healthcare and finances are handled by someone capable, so they provide safety. These services were created to lighten the load of dwelling with difficult moments in life, struggling with illness, and managing financial matters. They lift the weight. Conservators and guardians are legally tasked to provide organization to those in need. They help with the organization. While filing for guardianship is free, there is a small fee for filing for conservatorship. Although abuse cases exist, conservatorship and guardianship are meant to work in the best interest of the person in need of these services. So this is a perfect day to create awareness and educate others something not many know or discuss. Identifying conservatorship and guardianship abuses is challenging when you don't know what to watch out for. Being free to make your own decisions and grow as a person is part of life and the law. By stopping conservatorship and guardianship abuses, we are upholding our most basic need for freedom. The ability to determine your fate is part of the dignity and fun accompanying citizenship. By talking about conservatorship and guardianship abuse, we are breaking the walls, enclosing those who previously didn't have any voices. Today is also a day of remembrance and respect to the victims of the communist regime in Bulgaria. It was declared by the government of Bulgaria to honor the memory of all those who were wrongfully imprisoned and killed by the oppressive regime in Bulgaria, as well as to have a permanent reminder of these heinous acts. It's not a public holiday, so business don't close. But to commemorate the day, wreaths are placed at a memorial wall in Sofia and memorial church services are held with politicians also giving speeches. Bulgaria country has a dark past that was made by the Bulgarian Communist Party, which took party in a country in 1944. With it came widespread political repression as the party moved to establish its absolute authority over the people of Bulgaria. One of the tools they used to do this was establishment of the People's Court, which was set outside the tenets of the Bulgarian constitution. This illegal body was used as an instrument of the communist terror. On February 1st, 1945, regents, member of parliament, generals, cabinet ministers, colonels, and bankers were sentenced to death by the People's Court and executed on the same day. In the months following these brutal killings, the court continued trying people allegedly connected to the previous government. Over 9,000 people were sentenced, about 2,730 were executed, and 1,305 were sentenced to life imprisonment. Others simply disappeared before even getting a trial, leaving thousands lying in unmarked graves. In 1949, the Belin labor camp was established on Belin Island to target enemies of the regime, most especially evangelical Christian pastors. This is terrible camp operated officially until 1959. In November 1989, the British regime was brought to an end and there was peaceful transition to parliamentary democracy. In 1996, the Supreme Court overturned the sentence given in 1945 due to lack of evidence against the accused. And in 1998, the Constitutional Court of Bulgaria declares the People Court unconstitutional. Bulgaria has a unitary parliamentary republic form, and Rumen Radev is the president of Bulgaria, and vice president is Liana Lotova. According to the World Bank, Bulgaria's population was approximately 6.9 million in 2020. Thousands of people were unfairly sentenced and executed by the communist regime. So join the people of Bulgaria in honoring the fallen. As stated by Martin Luther King, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Stand against oppression and injustice in your society. Tell others about the victims, emphasizing how horrible what happened was and how much we need to avoid such tragedies in the future, learning from the past. In a communist system, the supply and demand of goods are controlled by central planning and everything is controlled from one place. Communism does not give room for private ownership of means of production and prohibits private businesses. It abolishes private property. Wide and unfair gaps in income are eliminated as each person is compensated on need basis. It eliminates income gaps. In a communist system, all means of production are under the ownership and control of the state and everything is state-owned. The government is responsible for providing work and compensation according to the capabilities of every individual. Provision of necessities. This day exposes the brutal oppression of the communist regime in Bulgaria. This ensures that history is not rewritten in a way that protects oppressors. So exposing oppression. It serves as a memorial, and memorials are an opportunity to remember the precious lives that were lost. We celebrate their lives as we honor their sacrifice. Unjust sentences against falsely accused people were overturned. There's hope for justice for all, justice served. Today is also Abolition of Slavery Day in Mauritius, also known as Abolition Day, commemorates the abolition of slavery in the nation. The Slavery Abolition Act of 1833, helmed by the British Parliament, took effect a year later, with most British colonies freeing enslaved Africans spanning the Caribbean and South Africa. In 1835, Mauritius followed suit, officially becoming the last British colony to gain freedom. Planters were compensated with £2 million sterling for their slave loss. Mauritius, colonized by the Netherlands, France, and Great Britain, became independent in 1968. Although today the tropical island is with a population of 1.2 million people, tops the list of luxurious destinations, boasting some of the most beautiful landscapes, beaches, lagoons, and reefs. Mauritius' early beginnings show a staggering irony. Before the Arabs, the island lay uninhabited by humans. But the history of Mauritius would not be complete without a delve into slavery. The history of Mauritius, dating back to the first period, lacks documentation. Hence, the earliest dates of the country's history sink deep into the mystery. Mauritius, said to be over 702 miles east of Madagascar, situated off the southeastern coast of Africa, traces its roots to the discovery by Arabs and Malays in 1507. Before the Europeans, Portuguese came into the picture in 1510, naming the island San. By 1958, the Dutch took and renamed it after the head of the state, Maurice, Prince of Orange and Count of Nassau, and from there it officially started to gain recognition in the early 16th century. The 1640s saw the Dutch usher in the first slaves, though the leadership of the commander of Mauritius, Adrian van der Stel, 100 slaves was brought. The Dutch administration meted untold treatment on slaves, and any attempt of confrontation brought dire consequences. By the 17th century, the island played host to about 200 Dutch alongside slaves from Madagascar, Africa, India, and Java. In 1710, following no longer favorable conditions for the Dutch, they left and British took over in 1810. By then, the island was made up of great percentage of slaves from Madagascar and East Africa. In 1834, the British Empire had already proclaimed the abolition of slave trade following the passage of the Slavery Abolition Act in 1833, but Mauritius dragged its feet for months before the apprenticeship system convinced slave owners otherwise. They followed suit on February 1st, 1835, becoming the last British colony to abolish slavery. However, before this, there was an already escalating discontentment about slavery globally. Generally, the decline of profits globally was a calculating force for slave trade abolition as wage labor became more profitable. Although events are held throughout the country commemorating freedom of slavery on Abolition of Slavery Day, many specifically gather at the foot of Limoni Mountain for festivities. Limoni is said to be surrounded by caves, a secure hiding spot for fleeing slaves in the past. Although slavery has been officially abolished, modern-day slavery is very prevalent, disguised in the forms of forced labor, debt bondage, forced marriage, and human trafficking. So speak up against these vices and make the world a better place, more secure and happier. The dodo, the flightless bird and the symbol of Mauritius, was found only in Mauritius, but went extinct in 1681 due to humans. And sugarcane is the Mauritius' main export. It takes up a large percentage of the island. And this day, reminds us to fight against all forms of racism and discrimination. It also serves as a reminder of the importance of perseverance and the fight for freedom and basic human rights. It's create awareness but about slavery, modern day slavery, and its long lasting impact on our world. It invites people to speak up about injustice by drawing attention to the injustice of the past. 40 million people worldwide are victims of modern slavery, and delving down memory lane brings that fact to the fore, charging us to do better and be better as human beings. And this week is also celebrated as World Interfaith Harmony Week from February 1st to 7th. The observation has emerged from the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA resolution that seeks a worldwide celebration of interfaith harmony. It was started by H.M. King Abdullah II and HRH Prince Ghazi bin Mohammed of Jordan in 2010. The week-long celebration is to promote harmony between citizens of the world, regardless of their faith. It is celebrated, and it is a celebration of unity in diversity and the divine connection between people and their faith. UN declared the first week of February will be celebrated as World Interfaith Harmony Week. The celebration is based on the works of the Common Word Initiative. The initiative got Muslim and Christian leaders to discuss the two common fundamental religious teachings, the love of God and the love of neighbor. The religious leaders conducted dialogues on how these beliefs were central to both religions. And the World Interfaith Harmony Week modified the two commandments to love of the good and love of the neighbor. This mantra teaches everyone goodwill and power of kindness, charity, and healing. During this week, leaders of various faiths gather to discuss how religion can enrich the lives of believers and how that makes the world a better place. World Interfaith Harmony Week also highlights the philanthropic works of religious groups. It encourages others to do similar work or get more involved in their communities. Amidst rising religious conflicts, noble celebrations like World Interfaith Harmony Week or the call of the hour. The most important goal of this observation is to get people to realize that our common values of love, faith, and kindness easily outweigh our differences. With patience and humility, we could all make a wonderful place to live in, one where faith unites religion is not a means of oppression. So World Interfaith Harmony Week spreads harmony and tolerance among followers of different faiths and religions and all the world religions. Interfaith harmony brings peace and tranquility among people regardless of their faiths or religions. Interfaith harmony encourages peaceful coexistence among practitioners of various religious beliefs in the age of increasing political and social differences. Promote interfaith harmony in your own way. During World Interfaith Harmony Week, tell people about the shared goals of all faiths and how love and kindness are integral to all religious beliefs, and put an end to hatred of other religions or faiths by one religious community or other. So read the scriptures to learn about the different faiths during the World Interfaith Harmony Week. This will also help you to understand different ways of praying and living. And coming to certain faiths, there are about 2.5 billion practicing Christians, which is the largest religion because of its conversions of many other religions into them. Atheism is a belief too. There are an estimated 1.2 billion non-believers on the planet. And Rastafari is the most minor religion with around 6 lakh Rastafaris. And Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are Abrahamic religions, meaning that they all worship a form of Abraham. That's why they are known as, allies or close friends. Islam is the second largest religion after Christianity with 2 billion followers. This is all in context with the to the day. So promote interfaith harmony in your own way instead of spreading hatred on other religions and faith and spitting venom on other religious communities and faiths. So this is a wonderful opportunity to have an interfaith dialogue and shared goals of all faiths and love and kindness, which are integral to all religious beliefs. Today is also Women's Heart Week. This entire week is celebrated. And this observation aims to educate, raise awareness, and teach the symptoms of prevention of serious heart disease in women. Health centers organize screenings, talks, and awareness programs, and women are familiarized with gender-specific information on heart illness. This is a good time to get your heart checked, especially if you have a history of heart illness in your family. Timely precaution can save you from suffering from major heart diseases and issues. So consult your doctor or healthcare providers on how to observe Women's Heart Week in US. So it is an outreach program that combines fun and free activities with invaluable medical advice to help women take better care of the most crucial organ in the human body. Organizations that are dedicated to the heart health partner with local organizations and health centers to encourage fitness, promote stress reduction activities, and enlighten women on the gender-specific issues of heart health. They are also informed about the lifestyle changes they can make for a healthier heart. Women's Heart Week promotes prevention of disease, education, symptom awareness, and early intervention. Studies reveal that heart ailments are the #1 killer of American women. Neglecting your health, a stressful lifestyle, and poor eating habits often aggravate heart conditions. Under such circumstances, it is crucial to recognize symptoms and risks, make necessary lifestyle changes, get regular medical care, and promptly seek medical intervention when the need arises. In the US, Women's Heart Week is observed as a national outreach campaign to save lives, especially that of women who are regularly neglected by the medical sciences. Heart disease is the most common among America's women aged 34 and older. Most women are unaware of this fact and fail to recognize symptoms and seek medical care. Milder women's symptoms are often neglected, but being mindful of these can help save lives. Today, women are busier with ever as they juggle career, family, and caregiving responsibilities, and amidst all these, they fail to take care of themselves. Observations such as Women's Heart Week are a much needed intervention that improves a woman's and society's collective health. There is an increased interest in the study and understanding of heart diseases in 1900s, and the heart is studied like never before. The organization, American Heart Association, was founded in 1924, is dedicated to the study of the heart and its diseases. The first diagnostic images of coronary arteries makes the detection of coronary ailments easier and faster in 1958. The first bypass surgery to treat heart illness was in 1960. So February is also known as Women's Heart Month, Heart Health Month. It raises awareness of the risks of heart disease and strokes, with ultimate goal to prevent suffering and death. There are certain symptoms of weak heart, shortness of breath, frequent chest pain, fatigue, and swelling of the legs, ankles, feet are some of the signs of potential heart conditions. Start exercising regularly, quit smoking, maintain a healthy body weight, and eat heart-healthy foods to make your heart strong. Admitting to yourself that you could be doing better is the first step towards taking better care of your heart health. So pledge to make some lifestyle changes during the Women's Heart Week. You can start by exercising, eating better, and regularly getting medical health checkups. This week is also commemorated as US Snow Sculpting Week in US. With its snow, with its ability to create blank canvas of the world, it is both beautiful and captivating. Some of these seen as a source of beauty in and of itself, while others see as open space as an opportunity to create something new and fleeting. Every year, US Snow Sculpting Week is held for those who are inspired to create beautiful and complex works of art using the temporary medium of snow. Spring is on its way, but that doesn't mean the splendor of winter has gone away just yet. US Snow Sculpting Week will take its place first, and it honors a tradition of ice art and beauty. For 4 days, Winterfest will be organized in Lake Geneva for almost 20 years, and 4 days, teams from all over the country whittle and shape their creations from 9-foot tall blocks of snow into 8-foot diameter cylinders. Which is still followed, and every year it is spreading throughout the world to other areas that are still under the grip of winter at this time of year. Thousands of artists gather to let their imaginations run wild and create incredible and temporary works of art out of 9-foot tall and 8-foot round blocks of snow. These artists' work ranges from simple geometric shapes to integrate sculptures that straddle the line between hyperrealism and purely surreal. During the Ulfest in 1970s, amateur teams created snow sculptures in front of the shops on Main Street. Snow sculpting fits it perfectly with our annual Winter Festival, which is named after Ulf, a somewhat fictitious god of snow. Rob Neiland and Ron Shelton created snow sculptures in the front of their real estate office during every Ulfest under the alias Kevin Marvin and the Snowflakes. Rob and Ron were successful in winning the state snow sculpture championships for Breckenridge in the late 1980s. The teams from Neyland and Shelton were also successful, traveling internationally and making friends at another state championships. Breckenridge hosted the first international snow sculpture championships in 1991. Instead of lining the street, the snow blocks were concentrated in the old bell tower parking lot. The art of snow carving has skyrocketed. The Breckenridge event, according to the Neyland, is one of the best of the world because of the colder and drier weather compared to other event locations. The quality of the carving blocks made by the Breckenridge Ski Resort with the man-made snow and the community's willingness to accommodate the event. Snow sculptures are typically carved from a single block of snow that is 6 feet to 15 feet on each side and weighs around 20 to 30 tons. And ice sculptures typically last for more than 12 hours at room temperature, but this varies depending on the size, design, complexity, and location. Simply dilute food coloring in water and apply it with brush or spray bottle to your sculptures to achieve this effect of eye-catching snow sculptures. Ice sculpting is now frequently incorporated into culinary arts, with many sculptors learning the craft in culinary schools. This week is also Solo Diner Seat Out Week in US. And it's specially created for people who are single, independent, and strong people to eat at the restaurants. And this was celebrated by Amanda Cohen, New York chef at her restaurant Dirt Candy. During this week, which is close to Valentine's, she comes up with the wonderful options for single diners. The idea is that singles feel less punished for choosing their lifestyle. From this, more restaurants joined to make Solo Dinners Eat Out Week special. In the early 19th century, there wasn't any stigma attached to solo dining. It was seen as something only the rich could do, as they needed to pay for a private room to dine in the restaurant. Communal dining back then was standard, and people who could afford a more expensive price for privacy would dine solo. After the American Civil War in 1865, luxury restaurants started coming up in the country, and slowly the stigma related to solo dining began to build. These restaurants removed the communal dining tables and created private seating areas for families and couples. Place settings were reduced to 2, and that became the minimum number that restaurants expected when consumers came. Dining that always required a companion was normalized. In 1894, restaurants developed a policy where women eating alone, or lone women, as they called it, would not be allowed into a fine dining restaurant. Even if they were a group of women, they would not be allowed in. Only when accompanied by a man did they have the right to be admitted inside. By the 20th century, many women started protesting publicly against this due to sexism, and restaurants finally discarded their lone woman policy. This was especially because many women started working and became financially independent. This harsh stigma against women eating alone, however, started to change by 1980s as more and more people began dining solo, and restaurants had to become more accommodating of them. Today is Shape Up with Pickles time. This holiday encourages pickle lovers and haters to stock up of jars of tasty treats. Put down your bags of chips or chocolate bars and snack on pickle instead. They are jam-packed with probiotics, vitamins, and minerals and have almost no fat. But Shape Up with the Pickles time isn't just about gorging ourselves on pickled vegetables. This week is also finding time to head to gym or squeeze in a home workout. Combining exercise with a nutritious treat can help us lose some weight and reach our fitness goals. Pickles have been around since ancient times. Some studies claim that the ancient Mesopotamians pickled vegetables, while others say that pickling dates back to the construction of the Great Wall of China, when workers were expected to work for days on end. Pickles were well preserved so that they lasted throughout the long journeys to and from the wall, regardless of their origin. Pickles have stayed staples in households worldwide because they are easy to store and add tons of flavors to various dishes. Pickled vegetables preserved in salt and vinegar are also a popular pick for army troops because they stay delicious for longer periods. In more recent times, pickles have been used for different culinary purposes. They served as side dishes, entrees, toppings, and even desserts, making them a versatile ingredient. However, pickles aren't considered healthy because of the high sodium levels from the salt, pepper, and vinegar used in their preservations. Despite this, it contains many nutrients and no fat. For this reason, Shape Up with Pickles Time combines delicious pickles with staying healthy through exercise. By adding pickles to your diet, you are adding a zero fat element. Combined with plenty of exercise, it can help you to lose weight. So take this week to add as many pickles as possible to your diet and head to the gym every day to see great results. And there are different ways of making pickles through refrigeration, fresh packing, or processing. Although pickles have plenty of vitamins such as vitamin K, A, and C, they have a high sodium content, so they are not considered healthy. But still, if it is prepared in a proper manner, they are the poor man's diet. And pickles are also secret to the beauty. Cleopatra claimed that pickles were behind her infamous beauty. Historians believe that Christopher Columbus successfully reached America because he planted and rationed pickles to keep his sailors fed. Napoleon Bonaparte offered a $250,000 reward to anyone who could find the best way to pickle vegetables for his troops, and they are money makers. It helps digestion. You can pickle your vegetables to make them easier to digest. And the average American eats around 9 pounds of pickle a year. Even in India, there is no meal that goes without pickle. So this is a wonderful day to start pickle or enjoy a new pickle on this day. This week is also commemorated as National Patient Recognition Week to promote the culture of emphasizing patient satisfaction. And it is all about patient involvement as a paramount. It serves as a day professionals in the healthcare field recommit to the pledge of human-centered and superior healthcare service delivery. So the first 7 days of February is about promoting the culture of emphasizing patient satisfaction. It serves as a day professionals in the healthcare field recommit to the pledge of superior healthcare service delivery. The holiday serves as an opportunity for healthcare service providers to find ways to better care for their patients and to attend to some of the most common complaints around the healthcare service delivery in the US, including noisy nurse stations that can sometimes interfere with the sleep, loss of personal belongings, and many more. And Patient Recognition Week is a time for healthcare service providers to seriously reflect on their stewardship of patient care and their dedication to patient satisfaction. In modern times, healthcare in the United States is having a torrid time in contrast to the healthcare industry of other developed countries. It's National Patient Recognition Week in US even more important. In 2014, the World Health Organization survey revealed that the United States has the highest per capita healthcare expenses of any first world country. And the National Institutes of Health 2016 research also noted that the US has the highest prevalence of obesity, car accidents, infant mortality, heart and lung disease, sexually transmitted infections, adolescent pregnancies, injuries, and homicides among the 17 high-income countries surveyed. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, is enacted and is a major change in the insurance. In 2010, the Supreme Court saves Obamacare. The court upholds the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act in 2012. So the country spends around $9,403 per capita and 17.9% of GDP on healthcare, as discovered by World Health Organization, having the highest per capita healthcare survey in 2014. The landmark research shows that life expectancy in the US has dropped since 1993 in National Institutes of Health revealing research in 2016. So this week, you are expected to take more time to listen to patients and make them smile. Making your patient smile reflects on their perception of the healthcare service delivery and yourself. As healthcare service providers, this is the time to plan initiatives or events that improve service. So make it time to reflect on the ways to further better healthcare service delivery by taking the time to listen even more to their predicaments, become an advocate of their well-being. Commit to going and the extra mile for the patients by making them smile to improve their satisfaction with your service. Smiling helps people get over unfriendliness and heartaches. By doing so, you are not only helping them, but you are also making it likely that they remember your service long after. Nothing is as beautiful as seeing professionals do their job online. So make sure to recommit your pledge to better healthcare service delivery by sharing instances of how it has changed your patients' perceptions. According to a recent survey, doctors sometimes have to attend 20 patients a day on an average 10 patients a day in US. It's not like in India and some other countries where doctors see hundreds of patients. In US, there is a limited consultations for every doctor. On an average, not more than 10 patients a doctor gives consultation. At maximum, 20 patients is the ceiling for a doctor in US. Of course, there are certain exemptions as well. A National Patient Recognition Week was initiated in 1995 by John O'Malley, a worker in the healthcare service sector. A National Patient Recognition Week coincides with other popular events like African Heritage and Health Week, Pride in Food Service Week, and many more. Citizens in the US pay for more for healthcare than anywhere else in the world, with approximately $2.8 trillion being spent annually. That's why we see many Americans, visit other countries, especially India is a great destination because they get the best treatment at a very affordable price, which is many times less than the US or their own country. The Supreme Court upheld Obamacare legality in 2012 rulings. The Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of most of Obamacare after it was challenged by national health insurance organizers, because these insurance companies had to shell out a lot of expenditure, that revenue on health bills, as a healthcare treatment is high in US. And this week is also important in reinforcing patients' confidence in the healthcare service sector, and also aims to encourage increased sensitivity and impact of patient care by all healthcare practitioners in the country. It is not uncommon for doctors and other healthcare service professionals to face burnout and even lose interest in delivering top-notch service after attending to an ever-increasing number of patients daily. Nation Patient Recognition Week helps healthcare service professionals refocus their interest and attention to the patients with the ultimate goal of improving their overall experience. One of the premises for this week is to promote the culture of emphasizing patient satisfaction through empathy. This week is meant to serve as the time when professionals in healthcare commit greater attention to the patients and deliver exceptional service. Today is also decorating with Candy Day, which is a perfect day for those who have an insatiable sweet tooth. And today is also Global School Play Day. It is the day to let the children run around as much as they want. So this is commemorated in US, and this day promotes the importance of unstructured regular play for children. This campaign was started by a group of 6 educators in 2015. They realized that the playtime for children was decreasing both at home and in school, leading to negative consequences for the children's development. They immediately took action and initiated Global School Play Day with over 65,000 children participating in the very first year in the US. So these educators were concerned that the children were getting less and less time to play due to technology and adult interference. According to the Global School Play Day press release, the organization stated schools are eliminating recess. Teachers are assigning more and more homework. Parents schedule every waking minute for their kids. Young children have become addicted to their devices, skyrocketing anxiety and stress. As a result of this, the group was compelled to take action, especially after listening to TEDx talk by Dr. Peter Gray. Dr. Gray argued that children are losing much more than playtime. This inspired the educators to initiate this Play Day campaign. During its first observance on February 4, 2015, over 65,000 children participated, and this was after only 4 weeks of social media promotion. In 2020, during the 6th anniversary of the event, this number increased exponentially with almost 6 lakh children participating across 75 countries. The organization believes that the campaign has been so successful because initially kids had started forgetting how to play, and parents and educators are beginning to see the positive impacts. And this day is for everyone, from public schools to private schools and homeschool families. Recently, business also started to join the movement. The organization believes that the unstructured child play is part of the child development, and that is why they call on for more educators and schools to participate in the campaign. And today is also Holiday Hugs Day in US. And it's a day on which Atlanta Blood Services thanks all the donors who participated in the blood donation camps during the busy holiday season, that is in the Christmas and New Year holidays. These donors are usually people who have kept the habit of donating their platelets on 4-month streak the year before and continue to donate routinely to the blood bank. Platelets are cells within the human blood that help the body fight infections and diseases and are one of the main operators of the immune system. Blood is one of the most important body fluids we have. It's the fluid that helps transport oxygen to all the cells in the body and allows the circulating system to work smoothly. While the heart pumps it so it reaches all the corners of the body, the lungs make sure the cells get oxygen and leave behind carbon dioxide, which is a toxic product of the chemical exchange that distributes the oxygen to the body. The arteries are where the oxygen full blood runs, and that's why arterial blood is typically brighter, whereas the veins carry the blood full of carbon dioxide, making venous blood darker. This is usually the blood you see taken out for blood testing. Not only does the blood help transport oxygen, but it also carries cells that are important for our health. These are part of our immune system, which helps keep our bodies healthy and heals infections and scars naturally. The blood also carries many nutrients and hormones and also helps keep our body temperature in check. It is made up of plasma, red blood cells, and white blood cells and platelets. The main component of the blood needed by the patients in need of blood treatments for blood cancer or bone marrow transplants is the platelets, which are cell fragments that react to the bleeding by clumping together to form a clot, which stops the bleeding. Patients with leukemia, for example, have a very low count of platelets, which puts them in danger of not being able to heal inflammations or infections, lowering their immunity levels even more. That's why blood donation is so important for these people. They get to replace a good amount of count they lost through the treatment. So physician William Harvey first describes how blood circulates through the body and has given description of circulation in 1628. And biologist Karl Landsteiner discovers the ABO system we know today in 1901, the discovery of blood types. And compatibility between blood types is tested through the first blood transfusion in 1907. And Atlanta Blood Services creates and promotes the very first holidays hug day in 2021. So studies have shown that donating blood can reduce risk factors related to high blood pressure and other heart-related abnormalities. If you are sick with cold or have an infection of any sort, also if you have gotten a tattoo or piercing within the last 6 months, people who have prescribed medication are also not advised to donate blood. And it takes 2 days for the body to replace the volume of blood you donated. So feel free to donate your blood. However, the red blood cells can take up 1 to 2 months to be completely replaced. So this is a day to thank medical and healthcare professionals who are always keeping us healthy and taking good care of our needs. So on this special day, don't forget to thank them for that. As humans, some blood isn't red always. Some species, such as spiders and octopus, have different colored blood. And even so with other animals. Being exposed to ultraviolet rays can help reduce blood pressure. So catching sunlight is good for your blood, especially in the mornings and evenings at the time of sunrise and sunset. So donating blood doesn't take long. It takes about an hour to donate enough blood to blood banks. So once in 3 months, you can safely donate your blood. In your body, right now, there are about 5 liters of blood running through. So we got a lot of blood, and your plasma can be used in 18 different types of treatments. And staying healthy and taking care of ourselves is very important, and being able to share healthcare with everyone else is just great. It's not often that we talk about donating blood, so it's easy to forget about it. This day keeps the memory alive, and it reminds us to be healthy and us to donate blood and raise awareness. Hospital blood banks are always in need of more blood. So it is a great day and way to bring more people in for donations. Today is commemorated as Imbolc, which is celebrated to ensure a successful farming season for the year ahead in US. And today is also commemorated as International Face and Body Art Day. Today is also National Dark Chocolate Day. And also National Get Up Day. These all are based on US commemorations. And we all fall, but it's how we get up that matters, bouncing back, how resilient we are. So apart from that, we have today, National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, abbreviated as NGWSD. It's all about breaking the gender stereotypes built around the sports industry. So have you ever felt sidelined from some kind of sport due to the fact that you are a girl or a woman? It's all about narrative that women belong in every aspect of sports. So keep supporting, celebrating, and inspiring others by being fearless and playing like a girl or woman, because what's better way is there to play. So it is first observed in 1987 to remember Olympic volleyball player Flo Hyman and acknowledge her as the best female volleyball player of her time, and her work in promoting equal representation of women in sports. Hyman died of a genetic disorder, Marfan syndrome, while playing a tournament in Japan. Since then, the day has evolved to commemorate all women athletes, their achievements, the positive impacts of inclusion of women in sports, and to address the challenges regarding equal participation of women in sports activities. The day also appreciates the progression made since the enactment of civil rights law, Title 9. So Title 9 was a public law passed in 1972 that completely changed the women's narrative in sports. The legislation called for equal participation of everyone in all the programs and activities that were federally funded, which meant all the public schools would ensure equitable sports opportunities to the students regardless of their gender. Title 9 was a breakthrough in women's sports. Before this, only 1 in 27 girls had access to the sports activities. But today, the statistics has lowered to 2 in 5 girls, which is commendable improvement. So this day is celebrated in all 50 states in US, and the day is usually celebrated by organizing community events, award ceremonies, and other sports activities that inspire girls and women to play sports and be active. Helen D. Portels from Switzerland was the first woman to compete in the to compete in the Olympic Games of 1900 and became the first female Olympic champion. She was a member of winning team who won the sailing competition in 1 to 10 category. On September 23rd, 1992, ice hockey player Menon Ruin became the first woman to play in any of the 4 major North American pro sport leagues when she played as a goalkeeper for the Tampa Bay Lightning team during an exhibition game against the St. Louis Blues. In 2020, Forbes announced that the 22-year-old Japanese American Naomi Osaka had overtaken the tennis legend Serena Williams as the highest paid female athlete in the world. So this day aims to motivate girls and women to play sports and be energetic and to realize their full potential. And it is a wonderful opportunity to play your favorite sport for a mental and physical boost. And this day is to thank individuals and organizations who had been striving for equal representation of women in sports activities. And this is also a day about organizing National Girls and Women's in Sports Day with various sports activities. During ancient times, women were not even allowed to be part of the audience at the Olympic Games in the West. The first modern Olympic Games was held in 1896 and women were not allowed to participate in it. They couldn't even watch, neither they couldn't even participate in Olympic Games. So Plato supported equal access for women in gymnastics in his books, Republic and Laws, and was a feminist. Medical authorities stating as far as Aristotle declared that women have a limited amount of energy and that much of it is depleted during the menstrual cycle. Therefore, women shouldn't take part in the sports, and women were underestimated by Aristotle and many others. In 19th century America, sports were considered to be a threat to the female fertility. And at least 75% of the girls have had derogatory remarks about girls and women in sports. And this day reiterates the narrative that women belong in all the sports. It breaks the gender stereotypes. And it helps convey the importance of being physically active and encourages women to realize their fullest potential, inspiring girls and women to be active. And while discussing the history of women's achievements, the role of sports in women and social emancipation is usually ignored. So this day appreciates the achievements of female coaches and athletes and acknowledges the role of sports to help unlock the boundless potential of women. So we have similar commemorations like International Day of Women and Girls in Science on February 11th, coming very soon. And on March 8th, we have International Women's Day. And on November 25th, we have International Day for the elimination of elimination of violence against women, and many more related to women. Today is also National Serpent Day in United States. It is a tradition that has been in practice for at least 5 years as a way to encourage everyone to widen their understanding of snakes to overcome their fear of serpents. And they have been known to humans for centuries and have evolved over a over an even greater period in the history. Snakes are perceived as a symbol of medicine, good, evil, fertility, and have been seen as sacred since ancient times because of their venom. The venom is said to have healing properties that modern studies have proven can produce painkillers, drugs for hypertension, and even treatment for strokes, heart disease, and possibly even cancer. The precise origin and history of this day is not clear. However, the day has been set aside for at least 5 years as a way to encourage everyone to widen their understanding of snakes and to overcome their fear of serpents. Historically, origin of snakes being evil as it is seen today from the rhetoric of Adam and Eve and the role snakes played throughout the biblical literature portrayed snakes as evil. It is as such for cunning Eve to consume from a tree forbidden by the God. Eve's act of obeying the snakes instead of God's instruction is assumed to be linked with the beginning of the bad things that happen presently according to the Christianity. That's how Christianity has portrayed, the image of snakes as evil and bad. And this is the day to rewrite the negative stories around the snakes and inspire humans to reflect and come to grips with their fears for it. Most snakes are known to animal scientists as shy and retreating. None will attack a person unmolested. Studies show that snakes go as far as to coil up and rattle to warm up, approaching humans of their intention to be left alone and striking only as a last resort when they feel trapped or cornered. So generally, they don't attack humans unless and until humans bother them or threaten them or hurt or harm them. Between 1869 and 1897, Edward Drinker Cope's findings and his contributions included extinct reptile fossils, leading to an understanding of the snakes. Biology of the Reptilia is the first published. It serves as a reference to topics on the evolution of amphibians and reptiles in 1969. The University of Texas publishes a survey on the ossification in neonatal squamates. The modern research on snakes starts in 2001. The oldest snake fossil ever found is a 113 million year old fossil of a four-legged snake is discovered in Brazil in 2015. Serpents are believed to represent power, God, evil, fertility, and have healing powers. They can shed their skins and emerge reborn. Thus, they are also identified with the symbol of regeneration or rebirth or immortality. Snakes are ancient symbol of rebirth, temptation, fertility, and power that is often depicted in tattoo arts and those things in mind. Snakes may become tolerant towards their owners, but in general, they aren't affectionate towards humans. They isolate and stay away from humans in general. So you might invite friends on your trip to zoos to uncover which one has the greatest fear for the serpent and conquer their herpetophobia together. Herpetophobia is fear of reptiles, snakes, etc. So understand which ones are deadly and ways to recognize them, and do some research on snakes. You might also read the ancient stories of how they are used in medicine or dive into modern literature to see the role they portray in them. We know the popular medicine, even the anti-venom is also prepared from the venom only, the snake venom, poison. So poison is only the solution for the poison as a medicine, anti-venom. If you are a snake lover, There's no better way to observe this day by posting of selfies of yourselves and your snake friend, and help everyone else overcome to their fear of it. And snakes have been sacred since ancient times because their venom is thought to have healing properties. And studies show it's used to produce painkillers and drugs for hypertension, and might even help with treatments for strokes, heart disease, and maybe even cancer, and also to prepare antivenom. Researchers have identified roughly 3,000 species of snakes existing around the world. Snakes are known for their ability to swallow as a whole prey up to 3 times larger than the diameter of their head due to their upper and lower jaws being separate. According to the scientists, only 1 out of 8 of the known snakes species are venomous. Snakes are mostly known to lay eggs, otherwise you live birth too. And this day helps us to overcome our fears of snakes. It serves as a day to especially help us to form friendly bond with the ancient animal. Today is also World Aspergillosis Day. People across the globe gather to learn about aspergillosis, a little-known infection, and share their knowledge with others in hopes of preventing future cases and promoting treatment and research initiatives. Aspergillosis is an infection caused by a fungus usually found in the mold. Although it's common for people to breathe it in from the air, this fungus only affects those predisposed to lung complications, such as people with asthma, tuberculosis, and cystic fibrosis. It can also affect individuals undergoing cancer treatment or recovering from a recent organ transplant. In addition, this infection occurs in birds and has different intensities, ranging from a simple sinus infection to a chronic form of lung nodes. Uncomplicated infections can be treated and cared for using antifungal medication. However, chronic cases can only be treated with a high-risk surgical procedure that can result in death. Over 500,000 people die annually worldwide from complications related to aspergillosis. The fungus ball in the lungs might not cause any symptoms and only be found through a chest X-ray. But in many cases, it may cause coughing, fevers, pain, and bleeding. If it goes untreated, aspergillosis can spread to other organs and lead to liver and kidney failure. Sometimes a patient needs to be kept in an environmental infection control room to reduce mold exposure, which can further worsen their condition. Some fungus variations or mutations might reset certain asteroids, making treatment much harder. It is important to schedule routine examinations and start treatment as early as possible to prevent complications. The Greek physician Hippocrates is reportedly one of the first documented victims of a fungal infection in 500 BC. Microscopist David Grubby states that the fungi could cause human diseases. The fungal influence in 1840s, the severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS outbreak infects over 8,000 people across almost 30 countries in 2003. The COVID-19 pandemic is infected people more than 500 million people worldwide in 2020. The first signs of an aspergillus infection are usually a fever, coughing blood, chest pain, headaches, and skin lesions. And aspergillosis is normally treated using antifungal drugs such as voriconazole and amphotericin B. The prognosis of aspergillosis is a few months late after undergoing an organ transplant. It can also be deadly if left untreated over time. Aspergillosis can reach a stage where it's so chronic that it cannot be treated. Although it spreads fast, aspergillosis is treatable with antifungal medication. Although it spreads fast, aspergillosis is treatable with antifungal medication and sometimes even surgery to remove lung nodes. It's treatable. Even though we're constantly exposed to mold in the air, it's quite uncommon for people with no previous lung or immune complications to get infected. So it's pretty uncommon. And it can be diagnosed through X-rays, computed tomography, CT, scans or blood test, but it's and as it's hard to diagnose, it can be diagnosed through X-rays, computed tomography, that is CT scans, or blood test, but is also so similar to the other lung conditions that it can go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed for a long time. Invasive forms of aspergillosis can take up to 3 months to fully retreat with antifungal medication before the patient is considered healthy. Today is also World Hijab Day to honor Muslim women who wear the hijab. And it is also a day to urge women of various origins and beliefs to try on the hijab and see what it likes to wear it. So Muslim women maintain their modesty by wearing this hijab. Many also use them to safeguard themselves from the male harassment and teasing. Today is also World Read Aloud Day. This day is not just dedicated to reading, but also to the art practice of reading aloud. Stories were passed down from generation to generation even before this writing was invented. Oral forms of storytelling were the earliest way of preserving human knowledge, insight, and creativity. So this day helps us to bring tradition back to reading while prompting literacy. So while the purpose of this day is to read to and along with the children or even other adults, you can always use it as an opportunity to practice your narrative skill. And this is the purpose of the day, to read to and along with the children or even with other adults. You can always use it an opportunity to practice your own narrative skills. There are many activities, reading lists, and podcasts that are available on sites like LitWorld and Scholastic. They have activity hubs and challenges with resources available to participate in the World Read Aloud Day. And measuring literacy worldwide is a complicated exercise because of the varying definitions of literacy and the different methods used. For example, in some instances, reports are declared based on their individual assessments as today is also International Face and Body Art Day in US. It honors face and body artists and exceptional artworks from around the world. It also spread awareness that the face and body art centers around the issues of gender and personal identity, and sometimes the relationship between the body and mind. Today is also Car Insurance Day in US. Clearly advocates otherwise with its significance. It reminds us to take safe driving seriously and ensure our insurance policy is reviewed and updated regardless of whether our car is most popular brand in the country or not. And this day also urges us to look back in time and appreciate the bulk of cash saved and the headaches prevented. Car insurance helps provide financial protection in case of accidents, fire, and theft. In 1897, Gilbert J. Loomis made history as the first person to buy an automotive liability insurance policy in 1897. So finally, we have come to the last commemoration of the day. Today is Change Your Password Day in US. Now, as most of our transactions occur online, thus our personal and confidential information is liable to be hacked. So this makes it important to keep our online data safe by changing our passwords. Do you know that the average American fear is getting hacked? Imagine waking up to realize that your bank account has been hacked or your online store card has been cloned and your payments are intercepted. That sure sends shivers. So with the increase in online transactions and activities, hacking seems to be a booming business. This called for awareness about personal cybersecurity and need to change one's password regularly. This was recognized by Matt Buchman, who had gotten hacked twice and felt it would be a good day for a day to remind everyone to change the passwords. So research proves that one is responsible for cyber attacks they face, as many hackers admit that the many online users have poor security and easily hackable. This is because we form simple, easy to remember passwords and use them for all our internet accounts. And these passwords are easy to guess, making us susceptible to hack attacks. Getting hacked on a personal scale might not affect much, but it is a deadly blow to companies as they experience heavy losses and may crumble under it. Stock prices of such companies will fall if they are hacked. So Yahoo is an example of a large company that got hacked. Many other organizations have reported system breaches and record theft. This is even harder for smaller business that are easy prey to hacks. The rate of hacking has reportedly increased since the COVID-19 pandemic and will continually remain a threat to online technology unless users take precautionary measures to avoid it. MIT creates a password to allow many people to share the same computer, and it is the first computer password in 1961. John Draper finds a way to make free phone calls the first phreaking in 1971. A new secure method was introduced, the two-factor authentication, in 1986. The first Change Your Password Day was celebrated by Matt Bachan. We have also World Password Day, which is commemorated on the first Thursday in May. And often we forget passwords, which we don't regularly use. So you can make use of password managers. These free and secure apps help generate your passwords whenever you need them. And change your passwords regularly. Use the two-factor authentication where possible. Ensure you use passwords with differently symbol combinations. And some interesting facts: there is a hacking attack every 39 seconds. 75 records get stolen every second. There are 3 colors of hackers' hats representing different types of hackers: black, gray, and white. 86% of online passwords are not secure. They are weak and hackable. And the number of data records stolen is over 14 billion. Billions of records have been stolen. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations and quickly fill the feedback form raised in the form of polls. Those who have not filled up the feedback form yet, and registration link has been shared in the chat box. It is mandatory for issue of certificate. So if you haven't registered today, every day you register with the same link. After the meeting, you can click on the link and register. So daily you can use the same link to register once for the day. So if you have, fill the feedback form. Thank you everyone for joining us. And see you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Take care. Good night.